My life update, May 2022. COVID-19. A few weeks ago, my 80-year-old mother was diagnosed with COVID, and so were 19 other residents in her facility, which is almost all of them. 16 of the fully vaccinated staff also tested positive. Don't worry, everyone is fine. My mum was pretty much asymptomatic, except for a bit of a croaky voice. Obviously, the facility went into lockdown for weeks, but I was able to speak to my mum pretty much every day over the phone. She felt fine. She didn't suffer any bad symptoms whatsoever. It should be noted that my mum is not vaccinated. If you knew my mum, this wouldn't surprise you. All my life she has refused medical treatment of various sorts. For decades, she has refused blood pressure medication, despite every doctor telling her that she needs to take it. Anyway, she's 80 years old now, and so she's doing pretty well. I certainly respect her decisions. She has always been into alternative medicine, things like North American Indian shamanism and so on, and she's lived a full life. I took her for a walk recently for Mother's Day with her grandchildren, and she's feeling A-OK. Anyway, my children were also sick for a few days, with only one day where they had a fairly high fever, but a few days later they were fine, and now they're back to their normal selves and back at school. I was sick for a couple of weeks, but not enough to incapacitate me or anything like that. I was certainly not bedridden. I continued to work throughout the entire ordeal, noting that I work 100% online from home. The only thing I had was a bit of a cough and a slight fever for a couple of days, but that was pretty much it. My wife was hit hardest, noting that she's the only one in my family who's been vaccinated. But she's fine now. She works for the state government in a frontline role, so had no choice about getting you-know-what. Despite all the government rules and mandates, most people in her department have caught the illness. Even most of the residents have had it, so I find it quite amusing that the government continues to insist on all these little precautions and regulations in order to stop the spread. As I've seen firsthand in my mum's facility and my wife's work, the rules did pretty much nothing. The illness continued to spread unabated. You just have to look at China with all their draconian rules and hazmat-clad health workers dragging people from their homes to realise that all of this isn't doing very much. The illness continues to spread. Governments are just pretending that their rules actually help us, when in actuality they've only divided us. Anyway, I'm sick of talking about it, so I just try to ignore it in my life. Holidays. We booked in a holiday weeks ago with some local Chinese friends to go to the Sunshine Coast in sunny Queensland, but unsurprisingly, it wasn't sunny. It was cold and wet. Unfortunately, we had bought non-refundable tickets to save a few bucks, so we ended up going. There was a pool at the hotel which they assured us was heated, but unsurprisingly the heat pump was broken. We had 8 children with us who were all eager to go swimming, and as the Chinese adults didn't really want to hop into the cold water, they were all dressed in winter clothing, it was me who had to get in to look after the children. Yes, it was freezing. The air temperature was around 17 degrees Celsius. I figured if those celebrities in SAS could throw themselves into cold water, I certainly could too. About an hour later, all the kids wanted to go to the beach. It was about 4:30 p.m, so the sun was starting to set. But we all decided to go in anyway, and I spent another hour in the cold water. By the time we started to walk home, my core temperature had probably dropped by a degree or so I was grateful to get back to the hotel and warm up. The next day, even though it was raining, we went to an expensive zoo. Again, we had already purchased the tickets. The children had lots of fun, despite me being cold and wet, but what can you do? Work. Work has been a nightmare. I don't like my job, but I continue to do it because I can work from home and it suits my lifestyle. The university are doing everything in their power to get people to voluntarily leave. Things like multiple rounds of voluntary redundancies and early retirements. Anyway, I still have a job, despite me having had a fight with them about payments and salary. I won't bore you with the details. Trust me, it was incredibly boring, but I found that throughout my life I've never much enjoyed work. At least with this job I don't have to deal with office politics, as I'm never in the office. New car. You'd think buying a new car would be a fun thing. No, it was a complete nightmare. I was happy to keep our 10-year-old little manual Mitsubishi Mirage, but my wife insisted on buying a new Toyota. She figured that the only good thing about her job is that she gets money, so she may as well spend that money to buy things she likes. Anyway, we bought this new car in January. It was meant to come in February, but it kept getting delayed, and now we have it in May. I'm sick of dealing with car salesmen with all of their lies and excuses. Anyway, I've had no joy whatsoever throughout the entire experience, and I hope never to buy a new car ever again. Politics. I've realised now that I hate politics. The Australian government, in my opinion, doesn't do anything to help the common man. They're just self-interested and self-serving and have made my life over the last couple of years a nightmare. Not just because of their useless pandemic policies that have only served to divide Australia, but also their complete disregard for things that actually matter to average people: house prices and rents. They've done nothing to help the average Australian afford their own home, but yet they pretend that they have. They are all liars and cheats, and so the only thing I can do in this upcoming election is to vote the two major parties, Labor and Liberals, last. I'll put any minor party ahead of the majors. Sure, this will probably achieve nothing, but that's the stupid democracy that we live in, pretending that we have some sort of control over all of this. Weather, and how I keep calm in this world of woe. The weather has been f***ing awful. Here's a map of Australia. Here's where I live. The entire state is covered with cloud and has been for weeks. There's only a few things that I like to do in my life now: green tea, exercise, fasting, spending time with my children, and sunshine. Unfortunately, the last one I don't have much say over anymore. According to one study, nearly 9% of people fall into the rain haters category. This group feels angrier and less happy on days with more precipitation. Yep, that's me. I need my sunshine to keep me happy, even if it's only 10 or 15 minutes a day. That's all I need. Unfortunately, this weather, this government, and my employer are all pissing me off at the moment. Hopefully, there are brighter days ahead, and I mean that literally as well as figuratively. How are you going, by the way? I forgot to ask. Let me know in the comments below.